For years, the story has stayed the same. Nigerians don't vote for women. With only 72 out of 1,534 electoral positions in 2023 won by women, you can understand the sentiment. But have we interrogated this question? Invictus Africa, in its voters' preference survey, covering 102 out of 109 senatorial districts, provides an answer. According to the survey, only 3 in 10 voters say they've voted for a woman since 1999. 69% never have. Before you conclude that Nigeria rejects women in politics, listen to why. 51% of that 69% gave the same reason. There was no woman on the ballot, or they never knew she was running, mostly because the names, faces, or gender of the candidates were never on the ballot. That is not rejection. That is exclusion before the vote was ever cast. And yet, something is shifting. Asked about 2027, 64% of voters, more than double the historical figure, said they will vote for a woman. Many who never supported a woman before are now saying, this time, I will. But this comes with conditions. 55% of these voters are merit-first voters. They want a track record, clear policies, and credibility. Only 17% are moved mainly by party or identity. So the ceiling on how far a woman candidate rises is not really about her gender. It's about whether she's seen and whether she's allowed to prove herself. One more number is worth analyzing. So support for women falls by nearly 20% as the office gets higher, from 80% for the House of Reps to just 60% for president. It appears we are more comfortable handing women influence and handing them ultimate power. So the honest question for 2027 is not, will Nigerians vote for a woman? It is, will our parties put her on the ballot? Would they let voters see her? And with Peru just electing its first female president, Keiko Fujimori, would we interrogate why the highest office still feels like the hardest ceiling to break? Representation doesn't begin at the ballot box. It begins with who is allowed on the ballot.
Some years back, I wanted to contest for the president of my secondary school alumni association. You know, I actually wasn't even planning to contest. They were just talking about, and then someone was like, oh, they nominated me. And then someone was like, no, a woman can't be the president, that she can only be the vice president. And that alone triggered me to contest. You know, and that was how I got the moniker Madam President. Of course, I won, you know. What I'm saying is there is a cap on women's ambition, and there is a huge cap on women's audacity. The society wants women to aspire to be more, but they don't want them to aspire to be a lot. They want women to speak for them, to speak up for them. So, but don't particularly want women to speak up for others at scale. So at the core of it, there are sociological and environmental barriers. I'm going to talk about the putting women on the ballot. You know, when it comes to voting, you are voting for the party, not the individual, because there's a party
obviously
that is on the ballot paper. Talking about president, long. I mean, we haven't even had a Senate president. We haven't had a governor. The only governor we've ever had was due to impeachment and was just for about 3 months. We have never elected a woman governor in Nigeria. So yes, I agree with your advocacy on the fact that the higher the position goes, the lower the likelihood to vote for women. And then there are also religious barriers to all of this. There was a time a particular gubernatorial aspirant was nominated in the States, and then the religious leader said, so they will go and bend down for a woman. And then they also considered the governor as the religious leader for the state. So it's what's it called? It's heat day, and then they will say the governor is on a period, so she will not be able to participate. So there's a inadequate women representation in political office, so that it's so systemic, it is embedded in our culture. And we need to do better. And it starts from women, for one, be a lot more audacious, be a lot more ambitious, not just for you, but for your children. You are raising daughters, and they need to know that there is no limit to what it is they can achieve for themselves.
Because your monologue made the distinction between rejection and exclusion. So if they're not seeing women on the ballot, it means that women are not actually represented. If you can't find the face, you can't find the names, you can't find the gender, there is no representation at where it matters most. So that brings the central question, really, from this monologue, and is that who is building the ceiling? And who keeps deciding how high women can, are allowed to rise politically in terms of political representation? What we need to know is what happens in that room where that choice is being made in all the political parties, because it's across political parties. Why is it that we do not have women on the ballot? Because from where we're sitting, we can see an accumulation of institutional barriers, political barriers, psychological barriers against women in representational politics. So at the end of the day, which woman would appeal to Nigerians on the ballot? Which woman will Nigerians be given the meaningful opportunity to vote for? That's the question we should be asking, because clearly there is exclusion. But what can we do about it? That's the question you asked me. What we should do about it is to find out from the people in the room when these decisions are being made. What happened in Osun State? We're waiting for the elections now. Why is it that all of them are men?
Broker, 72 out of 1,534 seats. I think that's about 4%.
It's small.
4%.
It's just, when I saw that data, I was ashamed.
How many ladies aspire to be politicians? From that, when you speak to kids in secondary school, you don't hear them saying, I want to go into politics. So I think it's something that should also be part of the curriculum. Leadership for females. We kind of still believe in conventional female roles, male roles, and a lot of women do not believe that it is their place. Society doesn't help either. You find that a lot of them, that 4%, if you look at it, most of them are over 40.
Absolutely.
Over 40 is when the courage starts. Over 40 is when the children have probably left the nest and then they go for it. Now, when you think about the environment, the political environment, I can remember one time I was considering politics as well, just like Zuma. Yeah? So, I read in the papers, and I don't want to say this is what happened, but this is what I read in the papers. It was Etiosa local government, and some ladies had been put in position of, there's something in the local government. The first one died after 56 days.
Yeah.
The next one was
That was last
installed.
year.
She died again. The third one was installed. She died again. Would you like to be the fourth?
Spiritual capacity.
So things like that. Now, when you also think about what happened to Lady Natasha, it's not really, it doesn't make it appealing at all to want to go into politics. Another thing about society is that there are women that are not married that would like to go into politics. Stigma again, they will start. She's not married, she wants to go
That's
into
the culture
politics.
about
So when we begin to dismantle all those stereotypes and cultural beliefs, then we'll see more women in position.
We still run this motor park Agbero kind of politics here. And it would not naturally attract a woman. It won't. No woman wants to be sacrificed because she wants to lead, because she wants to provide leadership. So if you want women to get involved, we need to be intentional. We need to say, come on, guys, this playing turf, we need to make it appropriate for women to play. It's as simple as that. No, because look at Natasha, for instance. That lady has become a dragon, just trying to lead. And I don't think she's enjoying whatever she's doing, because the other day, Yaya Bello was on TV, on camera, threatening a woman. Nobody said anything to
And
this.
getting away with it.
And getting away with
Look
it.
at Ogun State. We had Yayi there. We had Modele Sarafa Yusuf. We had
understand?
Yabo Basanjo.
And nobody
consensus and
threatened your life.
order from above, they took Yayi. It didn't matter whether the other women were there or not. It was overwhelming. They didn't matter.
The case of Kogi for me is irritating because it's been happening every time Yaya Bello is entrusted. But it is not all hopeless situation. I mean, Lagos State, for instance, has produced several senators.
So, contrary to popular opinion, change doesn't begin at the ballot box. It begins with getting on the ballot in the first place.
Contrary to popular opinion, motherhood isn't the exclusive preserve of those who have biological children.